God bless y'all. My name is Brother Jonathan K. I just want to share a quick, encouraging testimony. Maybe you have to really listen close so I can get it through because it's a lot to elaborate about. First of all, what happened was at my job, DC Central Kitchen. I have a manager who works there, and I had a coworker who works there side by side me, but he was in the morning shift. I was in the night around this time, the night shift. When he was in the morning shift, okay, I'm not gonna disclose any names, but when he was in the morning shift, my fellow employee, he and my manager um, came up with a lie. My manager created the lie, and the lie was that they were gonna say that a rat came out of a box that they opened, ran up their hand, up their arm, jumped off of one person and onto the other person, which was the two manager and the coworker that I have. And then they after they came up with that plan, they seized it. It worked. They went home that day. They did it to go home so they can go home early because they didn't feel like working. Um, Also, at this time, the place I work was already rat infested, and we have to understand it's not because of it being filthy. Anytime you're dealing with a place of food, it's always gonna be rats. It's always gonna be mice. It's gonna be roaches, but it's definitely gonna be mice, and rats are not far off. And that's a fact. I don't care where you at. I don't care if it's in Beverly Hills. Now, with that being said, this place we feed the shelters throughout the District of Columbia. It was, rat infested. This place where I work at, DC Central Kitchen, rat infested. Okay, boom. So the plan works. They go home. They chill out for that day. But the manager kind of got upset because as days passed, the coworker didn't continue to come back into the job, and he continued to take advantage of the lie that they created. And when he took advantage, he didn't come in the next day and the next day and the next day. And when he didn't come in, he would make excuses saying that he was suffering from trauma. Now, what had happened after that was the manager exposed himself and admitted that he lied to the HR staff. And he said, "Look, I lied. You know what I'm saying? Look, I lied. And the other guy, he was in on the lie. We both lied. Okay. He's really not traumatized behind no rat or anything like that because it never happened. We created this. Um, so with that being said, I think he needs help. I think he needs help because he also does struggle with heroin, and that's a fact. That was the truth, and he does struggle with heroin. So I think you guys should check up on him. Maybe give him a urine test or something. Okay, so you kind of see the kind of sneaks and rats that I deal with, other than rats, human form. So anyway, he after he said that, the HR, they were like cool. They was with it, and because of the rapport that this manager that I have has with like the CEO of the company that I work for. Like he knows dark secrets. One of the other person who knows dark secrets who could never get fired as him, he could never get fired. They passed. So it's like people taking things to the grave. Like even if something was to happen bad, they'd still take care of him. Like this lady, she just died of cancer a few days ago or weeks ago. And they took care of her before she passed because they have dirt. She has dirt on these people. So they don't want to fire them. With the same thing with the manager. So with that being said, he has a great rapport, be it with the CEO, be it with HR, so he can lie and say frivolous things out of his mouth and straight, um, horrible devices created from the devil himself to yours truly, and then next thing you gotta suffer. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's still scot free because of the rapport, and because of all the dirt that he might know. You know what I mean? And what he's taken to the grave and all this kind of stuff, and it's a lot of little scandals. So anyway, with all this being said, they tell the guy, okay, you know what? They tell the manager, you know what? This is cool. Okay, you're right. We believe you about everything you're saying. We thank you for being honest. Woo woo. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Call the other guy in. Okay, my coworker. Call him in, and we're gonna tell him that he needs to bring in a doctor's note. So what happened was he did bring a doctor's note because you know it doesn't take nothing to bring in a doctor's note. So they went in. He went out to go get a doctor's note. He comes in with the doctor's note, and by this time HR they playing dumb and they know that he's a liar. They know that he lied, but they're playing dumb, and so they're like, so how's everything going? He's like, man, waking up from these cold sweats, man. Man, it's getting rough, man. These rats, man. We got to really handle this problem. It's traumatizing. And so they're like, yeah, yeah. They're like, so everything getting better? Yeah, it's getting a little better. Then they're like, BS. They say the real word though, but they're like, BS. And he's like, what's going on? They're like, listen, we know everything. It's all out. And they're like telling the manager, come in. And then he came in. He's like, man, just tell him, man. I told him, just be honest, man. And then now he's like, oh, snap, what happened? You know what I mean? Because he's like, this is the guy who I was in on the lie with. And now he's exposing himself and me. Like, what kind of rat is this? This is a new type of snitch. This is a snitchethology that nobody knows about. You know what I mean? Forget theology. So he he pulled a Judas on him, and this guy's like, oh man, and he's like trying to act sympathetic with him too though. He's like, man, you need help, man. You're addicted to heroin, man. Let's help you. You know what I'm saying? So then they gave him a urine. He ended up dirty for heroin because he did have a real heroin struggle problem. And then from there he ended up what happened after that? He ended up they ended up giving him help. Okay, trying to quote unquote give him help with AA. Those anonymous classes and stuff. But they only do that to save their own tail, to watch their own back. Same thing with me. When I was debating, I told a woman in there, a volunteer, that the Pope can't go to heaven and that homosexuals cannot follow Jesus Christ and remain homosexuals. She was cool with it in my face. I don't mean no harm, but she got a lot of. Man, I ain't even gonna go there. I ain't even gonna go there. But she was, but she was cool with it in my face. You know what I'm saying? But after that, because in my job, she was a volunteer, and at my job, they can type up because they get those little responses like, how did you enjoy your stay on their email? Because you have to get your email when you come to my job. They get your email. Everything's computerized these days, so they get the email. Boom. And did you enjoy your stay there? She got a chance to tell on me. No, this guy's saying that homosexuals can they go to hell. They can't live for Jesus. I didn't like that. Meanwhile, while that was happening, recollecting what took place at that given moment when we was actually debating, I was also accompanied with a Pentecostal Christian sister, follower of Jesus. She was vouching everything I was saying, like, tell him. And that was kind of adding, and she was a volunteer too, but that was kind of making it worse a little bit for the lady because she's sitting there, she thinking that she's born again, but I'm coming against what she believes, and then, this Pentecostal black woman talking about she got the Holy Ghost, evidence, speaking in tongues, everything I'm saying is right. Now the lady's real salty. So when she sent that email, she did me dirty. And so they have, what these jobs have to do is, because they cater to the hoodlum and the thug and just all jobs really, period, in the ex-cons, because we're all ex-cons. What they did is they I ain't no ex-con, but I'm a felon. Ex-cons don't like it when you say that you're an ex-con and you're not really ex-con. They're like, you ain't no ex-con. You ain't do 10 years, 20 years. They it's a badge of honor to the Latino and African American race. But anyway, but they do cater to people with felonies, and people, it's hard for them to get employment. And so what happened was, they also use us as, what do they call them? Poster children, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they use us African Americans who are felons as poster children for their company. You know what I mean? Like even one of the guys who like there's people who are on their faces on the trucks. These some of these guys are like in prison for like life, or like they fired them already or some stuff like that, and they're still in the truck because they don't care because it's all about that black face, that African American face. And so anyway, not saying that they don't do a lot of good, but so anyway, so anyway, what happened was he tried to he tried to what did he try to do? They were trying to take over. He tried to so what the company does is the company goes as far as taking over and taking over the situation by like trying to help you, quote unquote, be through like sending you to a program. So they did that to me. They did it with him, the AA, but they ended up getting him out. They fired him. Well, they did that with me too. Behind all the debates, they like, you know what, we're not gonna keep you any longer if you continue to preach Jesus. I still preach Jesus. And so they also said, we're gonna put you in a psychic evaluation. I had a psychic evaluation. Maybe y'all want somebody could probably help me to like put the video on Facebook because I filmed it. They didn't know, but I got it. Excuse me. They could take it off my Facebook and help me probably upload it on YouTube. One of you guys, because I don't know. I'm not too tech savvy and I ain't really tripping. But anyway, what happened was they they do that. They do that to cover their tail to say we helped. These little guys. These little African American people. They struggle with heroin addiction and he's a Jesus nut, but we tried, we helped. And they do that because they want us to be these poster children, but they also want to have that good name so they can have good rapport with the donors and people who, sponsor them and, stuff like that. Nobody wants to sponsor and donate and be on the board with people who are scumbags. So they want to, help out people who are actually good. And so that's what they do to make themselves look good. So then what happened was, after all this, and I'm still there. I'm still there. I didn't get fired yet. So what happened was that same manager later on. Now this is back to the manager and the coworker who created the rat lie. Okay, that same manager, he was making fun. He calls me Holy Roller. Okay, he calls me Holy Roller. That's just my nickname. I take it. I don't even care. Like he calls me Roller. Roller. What's up? I mean, it's nothing. And so now it's to the point where yeah, baby boy. Now it's to the point where this whole lie that he created with the rat situation. Okay, now fast forward, he's making fun of me because all I had is a bicycle at this time. Okay, all I had is a bicycle at this time, so he's making fun of me now. And he always drives the hottest sports cars. He even had like a motorcycle, like one of those trick motorcycles that you could drive. You know what I'm saying? And he had one of those. And so now that something happened to that one. You know what I mean? Crash or whatever, because you're cursed, because you're a sinner. And moving on, now he has this fabulous sports vehicle, making fun of Brother Jonathan. A rat, okay, climbs inside from the inside, like not through the door, but from the inside, like through the tire and, you know, all up under the hood of the car, climbs inside and bites up wires, okay? God, we know this, we're not foolish. God sent a rat because it says God cannot be mocked, and he mocked me. And plus, he also did dirt for the other guy. And you will reap what you sow. Whatever you sow, you shall reap. And so that a rat crawled inside of the hood of his car, ate up the wires of his beautiful sports car, and it wouldn't start and it wouldn't drive. Now, It's probably back on the road now, but this is just something. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm not sure if this is the same vehicle. He probably got a new vehicle since. I think he bounced back. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But all I know is that's what happened. Okay. Um, yeah, man. So I want you guys to be encouraged as a child of God, to know that God always got your back. And you guys, like I told you about Rock Harper. Um, yeah, Rock Harper. He won the 13th episode of Hell's Kitchen. He was always trying to get me fired. You know what I mean? And he ended up, not being that big shot he is or was. You know what I mean? Because people might not look at it this way, but it's because you mess with a child of God. Another situation I'm gonna give while I'm here, while I'm on this screen. I was talking to my wife the other day about it. Okay, one time when I was incarcerated, first came to Christ, just came to Christ. What happened was I was a painter. I asked God to give me a job that nobody has. I just want a job that nobody has. I don't want to do what they do. I don't want to do what they do. I just want to paint and use my artwork for your glory. And so what happened was they gave me a job where I was an artist. And I was painting all over the place and stuff like that, drawing signs, do not enter signs, stuff like that. Um, and so anyway, what happened was he, this guy, this young man, this young man comes in my cell and says, "You can't paint on my door, and if you paint on my door again, it's gonna be a problem." Okay, if you paint on my door again, it's gonna be a problem. He came in my cell. Man, my Muslim cellie, he was supposed to be Muslim too, face full of tats, all that. You know how it is. Okay, my Muslim cellie, he at the bottom bunk, because I had the tippity. I was in a 3-man cell. I was on the top bunk out of 3 cells, out of 3 beds, and he watched him talk down to me. Yeah, man, it's gonna be me and you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do it again. Woo, woo, woo. And I'm just humbling myself and like, okay, man, you got it, man. Look, man, I don't want a problem, man. And he's a little frail guy. At this time, I was real strong, buff, and all that. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm looking for the Lord. Okay, no matter how strong I was. And he thought he was really doing something because they knew I was a man of God. And to see me humble myself like that, he thought he was really big, scrawny little guy. Not long after, not to my knowledge, but not long after, God, he said, "Vengeance is mine," saith the Lord. He worked in the kitchen. He got beat up like twice back to back, knocked out cold. You know what I'm saying? Ever since then, he would be opening doors for me. I just didn't understand. Like, why is he being so nice? Because on the last note that it ended on was, him talking to me, any kind of way he want. And then next thing you know, he's like, "Hey, brother, hey, man, let me open the door for you. Hey, all right, man, God bless you, man." All that. I'm like, what is he doing? I almost felt uncomfortable. Okay, fast forward before that, when I was a man of God as well as at this time frame, I was in D.C. jail before I went to New Jersey. Um, my cellie, my cellmate, he was always, talking trash. He was the grandfather of Wayne Perry's son, the infamous hitman Wayne Perry, who was with Alpo, okay, in D.C. Those guys ruined D.C., helped ruin D.C. real bad. Anyway, he was the grandfather of that guy. Lozado Bush, I'm going to say his name. He wouldn't mind. But Lozado Bush. What happened was, we cellies, he always mocking me being a man of God. That's why I want to encourage y'all. Continue to, strive. He mocking me being a man of God, talking trash, saying this, saying that. And next thing you know, he gets up to use the bathroom, use the restroom, and urinate. He's standing up trying to urinate. He gets knocked back by an unseen force and falls to the ground. Private part out, everything. Pants semi down, everything. Leaking on himself and everything. Not understanding what happened. But the trash talk that you just did was fresh. You know what I'm saying? Another time I was in the bed. I think he rolled off the bed. The guy, I think he rolled off the bed or something bad happened to him. And he just got finished like blaspheming God and me. And this is my other cellie when I was in a 3-man cell. Um, um, you know, yeah, rolled off the bed or something drastic like that happened. Right after he was talking trash to me, about living for the Lord and stuff. And there were witnesses. There was always witnesses to see that, like, oh wow, man. So I just want y'all to be encouraged. Continue to endure, um, because the devil, he's gonna get on the bed, baby boy. Because the devil's always gonna do what the devil's gonna do. You know what I'm saying? The devil's always gonna do what the devil's gonna do. And Jesus said, the servant is not greater than the master. They hated me, they shall hate you. God bless. Also, real quick, guys, I want to encourage y'all with this information as well. My mother, a while back, um, she was lied on by a coworker. As I told you guys in the past, sinners can never lead anywhere. They just can't be leaders. They're just not equipped. So thank God for the millennium reign coming soon, because they can't lead. But my mother was fired after she was lied on by a coworker. My mother lost her job. Okay, I was still a young boy. When my mother lost her job, the lady who lied on her ended up getting smashed by a Mack truck, but her little girl lived. Okay, she died. The Mack truck completely took her life instantaneously. The job ended up calling my mother and giving my mother her job. And so my mother was basically catapulted, higher after just being fired. So I want to also encourage you guys with that. Okay, God bless you in the name of Jesus. Let me see how I can end this. Basically, just it's kind of like a Mordecai and Haman type of thing. God will exalt His people in due season. So don't grow weary in doing good. Okay. All right. God resists the proud, but He gives grace to the humble. He gives favor to the humble. God bless you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ.